current job is that of being a family lawyer, and that's a bit of a euphemism. It's a bit like family butcher, because actually, of course, what I really do day in, day out is divorce. I've always wanted to be a lawyer, and by always I mean, I think it was first noticed when I was about 4. I was in what was called lower reception, and my favourite phrase was, "not necessarily." And I'm afraid really the only thing I could do with that for the rest of my life was practice as a lawyer. That was then endorsed because I used to love reading the Henry Cecil books, so Brothers-in-Law, books like that. And then those rather macabre books written by retired judges about dreadful murder trials. I used to love those. My mum had been to university herself, so it was taken as read that I would go to university. I went to what was then called a GPDST school, and it was a school where there was a very good mix, a very good social mix, because there were a huge number of scholarships for gifted children. And so I think that was good for me, but that was also an all-female environment because it was a girls' school. I never thought for a moment that there was anything that I couldn't do. Of our cohort of trainees, or article clerks as we were then, I think half were women. It certainly never occurred to me that I could suffer prejudice because I was a woman. I certainly didn't notice any. It was quite a patrician firm when I joined, and I think that one of the reasons why I was able to get away with so much was because nobody felt threatened, because everybody was just so patrician that if I announced I wanted to do something, fine. And in addition, I was privileged in as much as I've always been a bit bolshy. And when I was maybe a very new partner anyway, about 30, I decided that there wasn't an HR function in the office, and to the extent that the purported to be one, it was really rubbish. So I told somebody that I thought I should be a partner with responsibility for personnel, it was called then. So I was given a free rein. I was able to involve an outside consultant to help me create what was an HR manual. And from that time on, I was really quite involved in the firm's management. So I went through various management posts. Well, my 15 minutes of fame was quite fun, being the youngest and first female senior partner of a city firm. And, it was quite fun having a photograph in the Times, and it was quite fun having lots of articles about me. But ultimately, you still have to do the job, and the fun has to come out of the job. And indeed, I remember that there was one legal publication, I don't think it exists anymore, that had my photograph on the front, and I think maybe everybody in the office got it free, I'm not sure, but in any event, I had said how I didn't like people staying late at the office, and I thought it was better for everybody if people were gone by 7 o'clock, and how I'd walk around the offices shooing people away. And of course, what happened was that people in the office reacted by saying, "She doesn't appreciate us working late." And so you get unexpected consequences from almost everything. I mean, I certainly like to do things efficiently. I like to get things done. But in terms of the success in a broader sense, for example, the success of building up a very successful firm, yes, I do think that has impacted. And that also gets back to the women bit, because we now have very flexible working. We have agile working, so people are encouraged to work from home 1 day a week. Yes, you're plugged into the computer, but nonetheless it's a lot easier, to let in the electrician or whatever it may be. And so I think that kind of approach endorses the space for women to succeed. One of my bugbears is that although it's been fabulous for my career, the fact that the law has changed so much over my career by virtue of case law developments I think actually is truly shocking. It may all have been in the pursuit of fairness, but actually I think everybody would be better off if how the cookie crumbles is sort of imbued with a mother's milk, so that everybody knows from the word go that if their relationship breaks down, then X happens. So I tend to think, to be perfectly frank, that we should just have any system that doesn't change and everybody knows about from the word go, so that they can organise their lives by reference to it. I think that might actually be better for a lot of people. It would certainly save a lot of angst when it comes to a split. I'm married and haven't ever been divorced. I've been with my husband since I was 19. I think there's a much lower rate of divorce amongst divorce lawyers than there is amongst the general public. Possibly because, quite frankly, when you get home, nothing is as bad as what you've heard about during the day. Possibly, though, also because the last thing you'd want is for one of your confrères to be involved in your own divorce. So I think that must help keep a lot of marriages together. I have had my fun in terms of transforming the firm into something very agile, a worldwide practice, a team that really offers excellence in many parts of the world and in many spheres of the law. So it's quite gratifying as I approach extreme decrepitude to see that there have been those changes and that the spirit of the place is still the same. It's still very constructive, very collaborative. We just like one another.